The following live broadcast is rated ESV PG. Well, because this can get pretty deep and we can get pretty weird. Good evening, everybody. On tonight's show, we're going to be talking with people who are stressed out with life, who just get tired of it, who need an escape, who need a break. And we're going to see how they do that, whether they turn to something physical, whether they actually get away, whether it's entirely a mental challenge. We're going to discuss that with our panelists tonight and you, so feel free to join us in the chat. You guys all ready to have the show?
Hell yeah.
All right, then we're going to have that show. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ear, Shoulder, Voice. My name is Keith Litfin here for you. You may ask, I just don't look right now because this is real me. This is stressed out me. This is tired me. This is me who's been through so much, and he just needs a break. He needs to get out. He needs an escape. He's been doing so much for so long, and I'm not the only one in that position. We all are. What do we do to get beyond it? How do we get that escape, especially in today's times when we're stuck at home? A lot of us still can't go out and do the things we want to. We can't go to certain places. So what do you do at home? Well, we're going to talk to our panel and find out what they do and how they've gotten through this, and when everything's going normal, what they continuously do to get through it. Today's topic is, of course, I Need a Break, mental and physical escapes. It's all about getting away from things that are bringing you down, that are turning you into a monotonous, everyday life that you just can't seem to break out of. Don't forget, while you're here, to like, share, subscribe, and follow the Ear, Shoulder, Voice on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and something else I probably forgot, all right? Oh, and LinkedIn will be on all those. So make sure to subscribe, and you can chat live with us right on the panel. We'll respond to you to every question you have and every comment you make. And you can also call in live to the show simply by going to earshouldervoice.com/join. But, of course, who are you going to talk to? Just me? Nah, we got a lot more to talk to. Let's bring our panel in. Our first panelist tonight is, of course, the lovely, the beautiful, the talented. Afraid I'm going to say somebody else besides her name this time, but I'm not. Linny. Linny, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You never know now if I'm going to mess with you or not, do you?
I know.
That's just part of what I do. So today's topic, mental and physical escapes. Obviously something that I think you are looking for as much as I am half the time. But you recently spent a good amount of time in Florida, and most people would say, well, you surely got an escape then.
No, it was work.
Why is that?
Because I brought my mother and my sister and my son, who all needed care, and it was just me caring. So it was a lot.
And that's a lot of times what people don't think about when people are out of town. Like, well, you just went to Florida. Or wherever they happen to go. It's like sometimes work will take you there, and the stress is even more than you're used to dealing with here.
It had to be better, though, because I at least got to escape winter. But just so you know, so you wore your wife beater kind of thing.
I wore my, like, good. This is my, I feel fine, but this is just kind of my, you don't care. This is how people get when they get struggling like that.
But you know what I do is you take a shower, you do your hair, you put a little dress on, and it makes you feel better when you're not feeling so good.
That is one thing that some people do to get them out of it. And well, that's usually what I do too on the show, is I get all ready. But I want to express a little different view here, if you don't mind. All right, let's bring in our next panelist. Please welcome back Brandon.
I always feel better when I put on my dress.
I know.
You should have put it on for this show.
I didn't have time.
I know. It gets really tough and everything. So how you been, Brandon? It's been a while since we've seen you on here.
I've been all right. I've been burned out. But
oh, no.
Burned out. Well, you're on the right topic tonight, then.
It's almost like it was made for me.
Almost.
I did get away, though. How did
you get away?
I was supposed to take a trip to Tennessee, where my family's got a place in Gatlinburg. Asked for the time off a couple months ago, and another guy at the shop said, oh, no, I have that week, so I couldn't take it. So I let everybody know. All right, whatever. So Monday last week comes around, that guy's in the shop. I was like, what are you doing here? I just got so mad at him, and then my boss said, go ahead and go. And I just drove right from the shop to Tennessee.
That's what you got to do. That's what I ended up doing last year, and it was to go to Nashville during the pandemic and everything. It was not July 4th, but around that time. And like, I got to do something.
Yeah.
And I just ended up going to Tennessee out of the blue. And it was an important thing I needed to do. But, you know, we're not the only ones with lives that need that break. We've got another panelist coming up. Please welcome back the beautiful Becky.
Hello.
Hello,
Hi,
Becky. How are you doing?
Good as I can be, I guess.
Good as you can be. What's going on with you?
Yeah. You know, I'm just stressed and there's not anything specific. I think the current state of everything, you know, I hit my wall. I've hit my limit. I don't go anywhere. I don't do anything. The things I used to do, you can't do. So, you know, it's taken its toll.
It definitely has, and you're not alone in that boat. I think it's taken its toll on everybody one way or another. Mm-hmm. And because prior to this, we all went through the stress. We all went through these problems trying to get through. And now that the pandemic hit, we don't have those escapes we once had.
Right.
So it's like twofold for us. And
Right.
You got those other people that can escape every time, you know, those rich people with those multi-million-dollar jobs. Oh, it's been a slow week. I'm going to Greece. You know, well, fuck them. They're not your everyday person.
So Becky, so just when you think you hit your wall, there's another wall behind it, just so you know.
Yeah.
I seriously thought I hit my wall, and then I finally just got in my car and drove and then stopped to at a stop sign behind another car.
Mm-hmm.
They pull out into the intersection. I pull up to the stop sign. They realized it wasn't a four-way stop. Another car almost T-boned them. Instead of going forward, they put it in reverse and came flying back and hit me.
Oh,
and
my
now
goodness.
and now I just went and got x-rays on my neck and everything else. So needless to say,
wow.
there's always another
It's
wall.
always something else.
Wow.
All right, I think this is going to be our final panelist, but I don't see video, so let's see. I keep seeing him going in and out, but please welcome back. He was here on our suicide show. He has a lot to say if he's there. Brian Keith from Amos by Hope. Brian, are you there right now? I see you actually in the chat, so that's what I'm curious of. I don't think so. I'm not hearing him.
He's here in spirit.
He's here in spirit. So I want to see if he reconnects. We'll bring him in. Brian is great on here. Well, let's start out here. Wayne says, "What's up, y'all? Good to see you, Wayne. Always good to have you on this show."
Hi, Wayne.
So Wayne, you feel like you need a break for sure? Because I tell you, life gets hard. Life gets monotonous. Bill's here. He says, taking care of a parent in the last years of their lives is physically difficult when trying to work too, and mentally stressful when your siblings live with them and don't help. We talked to you briefly about this before, Bill. Well, not briefly. We actually went in a little depth with it, with the siblings not helping. And that is one of the things that makes it harder to escape because you can't. Like some of the things we'll talk about that we do, we can only do if we are not in the care of other people. And a lot of us are never in that position.
Right.
So finally, Brian's here in chat. Hopefully he'll be on the show shortly. Said Tennessee is a great place to get away for sure. And that is, because we were talking about it before, Nashville for sure is awesome. So tell me, Linny, I'm going to start with you after we say hi to Debbie. Hi, Debbie. Good to see you again.
Hi, Debbie.
Hi, Mom.
And Wayne says, Brian, get your shit together. Yes, Brian, get your shit together. Wayne's waiting. So we'll start with you, Linny, because you're in the situation. Say you didn't have your mother and your children with you. What would be your escape during these stressed out times?
Working out, exercise, singing, going singing with the band members, just going out and doing stuff that gives you your release, and with the pandemic, you haven't been able to do it. And then when you try to do it, even without the pandemic, usually you can't because you're caregiving to somebody. Right.
Welcome, Brian. Good to have
Hi,
you
Brian.
from Amos by Hope. Those that don't
Hi,
know,
everybody.
Brian
How are you?
runs another organization very similar to Your
Technical
Shoulder Voice called
difficulties.
Amos by Help. That's okay.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
We can hear you.
No, I came through fine on my Safari on my internet, but I tried going through the page, and for some reason, it wouldn't pop me in there. It's weird.
If you do it, you
We'll
haven't
figure
created
that
an
out,
account yet. In order to get that access, you have to create an account.
So,
I haven't done the call in yet. I
hello,
actually should
everybody.
do that. Hello, Brian.
you guys are all doing well.
I'm behind. Things were
You guys
getting
are well, but it
stressful.
was enjoyable and great to be with you guys on the last show, most definitely.
Yes, very much so. You had a lot to say.
I know
on
we're here to
this.
talk about breaking away and getting away for our mental health and our physical health and finding good things to do during our negative and down times in our life, right? Sounds like what we're talking about today.
So yeah, so how do you relate to that right now, Brian?
And I will just say that there's a lot of things out there that we can do mentally, emotionally, physically to help us in all those three areas as well. You know,
Right,
I've noticed over time, you know, of course, exercise is great. I don't do it enough. You know, I just went for a ride on my motorcycle today for an hour, and it felt like the best exercise I had all week, just for that therapy. You know, everybody finds their way. A lot of people like to do yoga, meditation. You know, there's so many different things you can get out there that are
Even
good.
just going for a walk.
Yeah, go for a walk.
Bill, is Brian the
It's-
father
it's
of
great.
Buffy and
Work
Jody
out
from Family
every
Affair?
day just to keep the mental part of your mind. You know,
I can see that. You realize that
easy
nobody
to
here
let it
probably
go
knows
if you
Family
don't
Affair.
find you know, you have to exercise your brain and your mind the same way we exercise.
Is that the
our
one
body.
with Urkel?
They're going to get
That's
old,
Family Matters.
shut down.
I know.
If you don't exercise them, then they're going to get old. They're going to get tired, and they're
So-
going to start losing their thoughts or their muscles in your body. So you got to keep everything in your body alive in order to keep it physically right, fit, and its well-being. Just like, you know, mentally, it's great to read books, self-help books. It's great to find positivity. It's great to do things like we're doing, you know, to help people, because
Yeah.
you're using your mind and you're actually using positive affirmations and positive
Okay.
attitude.
And socializing.
So Brian,
Without- Yeah.
if I can have a minute,
without
Brian
texting
here.
and messaging and
Mm-hmm.
Facebook.
Can
You know,
I have
think
a
it's
minute,
important. And
I don't think he can hear us.
He hears
yeah,
Lenny.
I hear all you guys.
Well, fuck you.
Wow.
Fuck you, Brian.
Wow.
All right. So, Brian, I
run
wanted to
for
cut you
office.
off a little bit. I know you really
I
should.
got you guys.
I'm sorry to cut
you and you. Both
cut
of
you off a little bit on there because you're detailing some
yeah,
very.
Go ahead. Anything you guys want to ask or add, or anything you want me to talk about? I'm here. I'm here. With
Oh no,
you.
no,
Sure.
we want to share in the. We definitely want you sharing in the conversation. But I wanted to ask about
Seriously,
you
I can't hear Keith though.
personally. Oh, so you're not hearing me?
That's why.
Can you hear me now?
Interesting.
I can
You
hear.
can-
I can hear you, and I can hear Brandon.
Okay, Keith, go away.
All right,
Just kidding.
bye.
We got this.
All right, have a good.
Okay, so Brian,
As you were saying,
keep
Yeah.
going here.
All right, I
Yeah,
don't know why you
you
can't
know-
hear me. That's weird.
Now we.
So
Can you hear him now?
Yep.
Oh.
Can
no,
you-
he just
now
froze.
he's-
Okay, so let's
now
get
he's
back. We'll
froze.
get back to Brian. This is kind of a shit show start for our show. So what the hell? We'll get back to it.
I need a mental break from this podcast.
Right, exactly. This is part of what we're talking
So
about,
we're
though.
talking
Is
about breakaways. We're going to
Brian disconnect and
Somebody's
reconnect.
got. It's got to be Keith because he's got
Somebody-
a connection to all of us.
Somebody
right?
say that. Tell Brian to disconnect
Brian-
and reconnect.
He said to disconnect and reconnect. See if because you're kind of frozen.
Yeah, it'll probably fix the problem. All right, so we're gonna talk. I'm gonna remove him right now. He should have heard that. Okay, so now let's go back to Lenny. With all your escapes, you said you worked out and you tried
Just-
to get out. You saying,
Yeah, just try to get out and do the things that you used to do that made you feel good that you're not able to do right now. But I know with COVID, it's hard. You know, I mean, I'm double vaccinated now, so a couple weeks I'm going to at least venture out a little bit more than what I did before. But still be careful, you know, and
It's
I'm
interesting that you brought up, like, you know, we don't get those other things we used to do. Mm-hmm. Was that Brian? We don't get
my
to do
God.
those other things that, like, it seems like you're doing less now, right? So why am I so tired? I
But
think
I'm
it's
not.
because
Yes.
the only things we're doing is like work and then sitting
Yeah.
at home and then
Right.
work again. So it's like it might be less actual things we're doing, but it's just like only draining things. And none
Right.
of that stuff that gives you energy.
right. And then when one extra thing comes up that you normally could handle comes into your life, it's like a meltdown.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just a total meltdown, which was what I felt like before I had that accident on Friday. And now I'm sore from it. I mean, it just kept getting worse. So now I'm like physically sore.
Hi, TCS. Good to have you. Bill says the virus has been very stressful on many in different ways, as we were talking about briefly before. And it has. Taken that into account, we haven't gone to Becky yet. And Becky, I wanted to ask you, if you didn't have your family around or anything like that, you still would come upon times that you may need a break or an escape. What were those tricks? What did you do to try to get out?
I didn't. I guess I'm on this show as much to hear what everybody else did and how they're coping and getting through as I am to even offer anything that I have. Because
Well, that's actually perfect then, because that would be really good.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do, and everything I ate. Every day it just got, worse and worse and worse and worse. And what do you do when you can't go anywhere? I'm terrified. I'm terrified to leave my house, which stresses me out even more because now, the thought of going out of the house, and even when this is all over and we can start resuming our lives and all of that, I'm terrified.
Are you terrified to just go for a walk in the park?
Yeah. Driving, the thought of driving, and I've always had driving anxiety, but the thought of driving right now, because I haven't driven, I don't drive because I don't go anywhere. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible.
Yeah. Well, I will say this, just even having the car accident recently, when the police officer asked me, because it hurt my neck is what it did. And it hurt right then and there. But he was like, well, do you want me to get you an ambulance? My first thought was, no, I don't want to go to a hospital right now with COVID. I will wait it out and go to my doctor if it gets worse, which it did get worse. And I went in today and got an x-ray. So we'll see.
Can you hear me, Brian?
Uh-oh. Brian, can you hear me?
Brian.
How about me? Hi,
This
Brian.
is not Brian's day right now. I think Brian lost everybody. Wayne here says, "Why is everyone so afraid to leave their house?" All right, that's a good question. Wayne, are you afraid to leave your house first of all? And why do you think that is, if it's true? And I'll ask Becky specifically because she brought it up. Why do you feel so afraid to leave your house?
So I'm afraid of getting sick. I'm afraid of my son getting sick. My husband, he runs his own business. So if he gets sick and has to shut down, he is the business, And so we could potentially lose all of our financial well-being. And, my son has special needs. So the thought of him getting sick and not being able to understand what's happening to him or, it's something that it just has terrified me. And I know that a lot of my fears are irrational, but it's something I can't risk. I can't risk going outside and going to a store or going to a restaurant and getting sick.
Are you is your son going to school or are you doing the virtual?
He's always been homeschooled. So
okay,
we're still
that's right.
Yeah.
Would you have sent him to school? I'm curious.
No.
Yeah.
So I get what you said about the business thing. That's one of the things that I have a fear of because it did shut down my business, and that was life. That was everything I had. And it's still not even close to where it once was. Wayne responded, by the way, said, "Fuck no, I live my life to the fullest." Absolutely, Wayne, as you should. Yeah. And that's really hard for a lot of people to do. But here's the catch, Wayne. We've talked to you before, and I know you go to the bar a lot. You spend your time there, and you've got your friends there. But even going to do things that you thoroughly enjoy on a regular basis can eventually get monotonous to the point that you still need an escape from those too. Do you ever feel that, Wayne, out of curiosity? And does anybody on this panel feel that? I don't know if Brian's actually hearing me when I'm asking, but the other three, if they are. You can? All right. Nice. We weren't sure. All right. So, does anybody else ever feel that way? Does anybody else go to places to where that becomes monotonous? And we got a topic coming up about monotony in life.
I actually went to so many different places on my time when I could go out that I never felt that monotony, and I think that might be why now that it's just like work home, it's like it's the first time I've been this monotonous, and it's just really getting to me.
And that's where we get through, and as you get older, I hate to say it, it doesn't go away.
Yeah.
And until you find that break, until you find that place to go. And what Brian said early on when he was, just ignoring me on purpose. Yeah.
Just going.
You know, Keith, I do always do that.
I know. When I talk, people stop listening. But what he said is a good point. And when you get in a monotonous routine, you start to turn your brain off in a sense. It gets used to it. There's no creativity in there. It doesn't try to do something new, and you get used to it. And that's what puts us in our states of depression a lot of times. And by keeping exercise and keeping trying to do something new is how we keep alive. But those aren't the only escapes. There's also mental escapes, or things you do at home to escape. Maybe binge watching a TV show, maybe playing a video game for some people. Actually, that was mine for a while. I used to play them all the time. Don't much anymore. If I need an escape, I'll pick up a video game and I'll play it. Well, one that lasts about 60 to 80 hours, so I know I'll be occupying it for a time. How about everybody else on there? And we're gonna.
Well, there's been times that the things that typically give me a break, it might be a certain person, or friends or whatever. Even that sometimes feels like work when you're overwhelmed with everything at home, and then you feel like, oh my gosh, I got to get dressed up, I've got to go there, or any kind of holiday, and you just are like, I can't add one more thing because I should, or having to have a function and you have to cook and clean and everything else afterward, or you just kind of want to go, nope, I don't want anything right now. Sometimes makes me feel better than adding more to the plate, even if it's positive stuff.
It's a weird spiral because it's like I want to do other stuff, but I'm too tired to do other stuff, so I don't do other stuff, and that's making me more tired, and just kind of spirals.
And that's with anything related to getting down, depression, or anything like that. Spiraling is a big part of it. Becky, before I get some more comments on here, because you are one who doesn't really know how to escape, how far do you think you spiraled? Has it ever gotten really, really bad?
Well, I mean, I know that I've taken it out in my family a lot. And it gets bad to the point where, I don't even recognize myself. And how can I expect other people to, I'm complaining about things and yelling, a lot of yelling. And that's, not what I want to do. But I almost feel like I'm just to that point where I don't know what else to do. And that's how it comes out.
And is that how you are right now? I mean, or have you gotten any better, or do you think it's gone downhill even further?
You know what? It's hit and miss, really. I have several friends that it's difficult because I know that they count on me, so I can't exactly unload. Right. So it's, you have to put on the happy face and just trudge through and act like everything's okay. And I think that, you do that for so long, and then eventually it bubbles up, and that's when I blow my top and realize, wow, okay, it's bad. So I think I'm leveling out a little bit. I have something actually to look forward to. We have a camper in a seasonal campground, and they open on Saturday. So I talked to her and I said, we will be there Saturday morning to sign our paperwork for this season. And, my son and I are going to stay there because we can school from there. So we are going to be there Saturday morning as soon as the office opens.
Nice.
Just to get out.
Brian, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you guys.
So listening to Becky right now, what are your thoughts on that? You deal with a lot of people in this situation, and Becky just doesn't know how to escape.
I'm not gonna lie.
As he escapes.
I just escaped. That's how you do it, Becky. Did you see how I did that?
It just went outside.
I just opened the door and went through it. No, but it's funny that you say that, because sometimes in life, I deal with it all the time. People think I'm always busy. I'm always around people. I'm always going. I'll get off my day at work. I'll come home and I'll sit in my house, and I get comfort in my comfort zone. And I sit down and I'm relaxed, yet I'm depressed. I'm alone. I'm isolated. It's like a double-edged sword. No matter what you go through in those situations, the hardest part is opening that door and walking through it, making that step forward instead of backwards, or staying idle. And I'll be honest with you, and this is what I tell people, because I get this all the time in Messenger and from people reaching out to me that deal with this. I deal with it. I think a lot of us do with different situations and how we feel too. feel tired, you feel drained mentally, emotionally, physically, and you just don't know how to make that step forward no more, right? Like me, I've been dealing with a lot more than you guys know for the last 26 years. That's even deeper. And right now I'm dealing with some of the deepest shit in my life that's health-wise that I don't really talk about. I'm starting to more on my page and around, because I like to raise awareness, right? You don't know who's going through it and who you can help. So what I'm trying to say is, like I tell people, and I tell myself this, you got to be bigger than your weakness. You've got to be bigger than the things you're scared of. You can't be afraid, but if you got to get out of that comfort zone, you got to open that door and walk out of it. Whether it's to walk to the end of the driveway and back for a day or a week, because the next thing you know, you'll be going to the end of your street for a day, for a week. And before you know it, baby steps. Don't try and think you're going to go drive to Cedar Point.
The
I
stream
think you're
cut
going to
him
go
off.
drive to Cedar Point. I think he cut out there.
So,
But,
the hardest thing about, especially, even before the pandemic, there was a time where I got into such a spiral where I would just kind of stay home every day. And it wasn't because I was afraid of going out. I didn't, know why I felt so down. And that's why it was hard to, if you can't find the door, you can't open it. I don't know why I'm sad, but I'm sad. And so I don't know how to get out of it if I don't know what's causing it. It's just kind of like a general down.
You're right. You're
You
right
feel
that if
stuck.
you can't find
You
the
feel
door, you
stuck.
can't open it. But
Sometimes you feel like you stepped in cement and it dried too fast when you start to make that step, and you feel stuck. And you're not, but because you're struggling through something you're going through, you feel stuck, and it's in your mind. Your mind feels stuck. And that's just my personal opinion, because like I said,
Well,
it's
right.
not easy to walk through that door. It's not easy to get up, so many things I can go do, but I choose not to because I'm depressed. My anxiety's up. My tumors and all these problems that I have in my health are flared up and causing me pain. There's so many things I cancel every day or every week to meet with people or to go do something to get out of the house because I've gotten comfortable with being alone. And I will be honest, there's a lot of great people out there, but there's also a lot of assholes.
that in itself.
It's a crazy world right now, where people are trying to find their comfort zone. They're trying to find their mental stability, their physical stability. They're trying to find a way to get out of isolation. I think the last year to year and a half, especially since February of last year to March of last year till now, people are still trying to figure out how to get off the planet we've been on and get back to where the planet is that we were living on, February, April, January, February of 2020.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What you said you've dropped so many things, you've canceled so many things to go out and help other people. That is something for a lot of people that lead to that mental stress, to that need to break out, that need to get away, because they've devoted everything about their life to others, and it's time somebody does something for themselves. Because no matter who you are, and I learned this the hard way, and I think everybody on here probably over the age of 35 started to learn this the hard way, and well, Brandon, you're probably starting to as well, is that you feel great doing what you do to help everybody and putting your life on hold, and it makes you really happy. But when you start to hit a certain age, you start to say, where is my return?
Throwback to episode 1.
Yes, we always do that. Big heart, heavy mind. Don't miss it on there.
So-
and another thing, one thing really quick, because Brandon mentioned, I don't want to forget about the door. And you always say that it's the courage to open the door, and it's hard to find that door. That's because sometimes there is no door. You got stuck because there was not an easy way out. Because you didn't do that. But there's always other choices. You can break down walls. Some may take more effort and more tries and a slower period of getting there. But you can still break out. You have to make that move forward, and you have to start somewhere. Lenny, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say to Becky, I totally feel what you're going through, because I think your situation and my situation are very similar.
Right.
With having special needs children, and I'm self-employed, and then I had my mom and sister, and I for the longest time was like, I have to protect everybody at all costs and make sure that financially we can still get through this.
Right.
And I knew I knew that I could not do it through the winter living in my little house with everybody under one roof, and I can't get outside because my son won't wear gloves and hats and things like that. And I have a camper too, and I put everybody in the motorhome and we drove to Florida to a friend of mine's house, and then I just winged it from that point on. And thank God it did work, but it took a village of help from my friends that were around me. And what you are going to be doing with your camper, I think, is going to be a world of help for you, just to get into a different environment a little bit and take a walk, breathe in the air, go take a walk with is it son or daughter? I'm not sure. So God bless you. And I know you can get through it, because I am getting there too. And I really felt like I was in a box.
So, and let me ask a question, I guess, to everybody. So when you do those things and you're taking the time for yourself, how do you not feel guilty that you're not there for other people?
You do.
You
do.
You
but
do.
You have to learn what's better, because you feel extremely guilty about it. It still kills me that I can't do certain things for other people. And I still try to on many occasions. And that's what I thrive off of. For me, that's the basis of my life. I loved to help and make other people happy. I built my career around that. I have built this show around that. I have built everything around that, because that's what I love to do. But how can I make people happy? And how are you going to get it through your head, and everybody else is struggling with stuff like this, that you will not be making people happy if you are miserable yourself?
You have to find a Becky day. And just a Becky day once a week, or a couple hours for a Becky day, something that is just for you. It doesn't matter what it may be. Just write a list of things you love, and once a week you just set aside some time for a Becky moment. I used to do that before the pandemic. Now you choose maybe a more cautious Becky day than you would go to a spa.
I want to get some of these comments really quick before we go further. Bill says, Lenny can come by and I'll massage her back. I have great hands, among other things. LOL.
Lenny's all of a sudden my neck feels better. I'm good now.
We always got to get our billions in here. Okay. TCS says level anxiety is heightened, especially people that already have anxiety issues, especially with the pandemic over the last year. And that's what I meant by it comes twofold, because a lot of people were dealing with this pre-pandemic. And now that the pandemic is through, their little tiny escapes they once had. Becky, I know for you, you went and sang karaoke every once in a while. I know that disappears, because you couldn't do that again for a while. Wayne says he would love a vacation. We were talking about the monotony of even going to the bars and repeating the same thing over and over. And Wayne, go on vacation. Find somewhere and go. Vacations don't have to be 2 weeks, month-long trips that you got to save up thousands and thousands of dollars for.
They can be a campground for 2 days,
For me, it was, and I can't do this in pandemic because the border's being closed, but I'm very close to Canada. I would go to Niagara Falls. I would do it by myself, because you know what? It cost me maybe $150 to go there and back to Niagara Falls. It's not far away from me. People think it's a huge destination. I would stay for the day. I would come home. I would feel like a new person. Mm-hmm. Take a vacation to another city, pointless city that's only 2 hours away.
Drive up north.
Drive up north if you want to.
Drive up north and turn off the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, get rid of that fucking phone, because you'll never escape with that phone.
Time goes by so slow. It's so great.
I know. Without that phone, it totally does. But that's the thing, is people always say, I would love a vacation. I need a vacation. I want a vacation. Then take a vacation. Vacations don't have to be National Lampoon's Family Vacation or anything like that. They don't have to be these broad, huge experiences where everything goes wrong with the biggest memories in the world. A vacation is exactly what the definition of vacation is. It is a getaway from things. It doesn't have to involve family. It doesn't have to involve anything but you getting away. So you know what? If you're sick, you'll take off work because you can't work. Well, why is that the only reason to take off work? Why not take it off one time when you're not sick? Why not make it for yourself? You can do it. If you've put in a good job and you've got people who see you as valuable to the company, you can take that time off. Take a day and do something for you. Because if you do it just for you, you're gonna change your life.
Yeah, you're gonna be able to come back and be 10 times more of you to give. But if you burn you out, you're not a whole lot. You're not as good to other people.
Then you
You
start
know?
taking it out on Kevin in the shop.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens too. Is we become meaner people. There's a reason a lot of old people get cynical, and they start to hate the world. Is because they get trapped in the same thing, and they stop being able to do the things they love and the things they would use to escape from. Well, if you do that at a young age, you'll become just as cynical. You'll start to be just as mean to people. Your attitude will change because you're so upset inside, and it comes out when you least expect it because it's building up. And you're not as nice a person, but not only that, you get set off a lot easier. Small things will just make you snap at other people. Still a lot of comments in here. First for Brandon. Brandon says he needs to get away. Well, Brandon, you could always go and visit your mom. All right.
There's someone else in the house.
There's someone else in the house.
It sounds like a horror movie.
And Debbie also says, when I'm on the edge of losing it, I grab a pillow and bury my face in it, then scream as hard as I can. I call it the primal scream, and it helps me.
It helps.
See that?
I primal scream at Kevin, and it's okay. Kevin deserves it. I promise.
I don't know Kevin, but I'm assuming you're right. He does deserve that. But that's something a lot of people can do. And again, for Wayne or anybody else out there, do it. You know why? If you're screaming into a pillow, you're not doing it for anybody else to hear. You're doing it for your own release. And we need those releases. We need those escapes as people. Without them, we become like I have become. And I have started to be a much more bitter person lately. And I'm more angry. And I'm not happy anymore. And I'm trying to bring it back too. So I'm fighting through the same struggle with everybody else. I am not who I once was.
And shut the news off and watch Disney.
Yeah, well, Disney will piss me off even more.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Screw you to whoever the bad guy is.
I usually don't allow links on here, of course, but Emilio Alvaro put a link on here. I'm going to put it up here because it says Facebook Healing for the Nations is the category of the group. So that sounds like something I would check out. So if you want to check out that link and whatever video she posted, feel free. I'll go to the link first and see if there's a video because you never know who's doing things that are not
It's gonna
right.
be a Rickroll.
Just look for healing for the nation. That might be a good thing. Melanie, by the way, completely agrees with you, Brian, on your whole thing about getting away and escaping and making that step forward. Jan's here. Jan says, I need a break from my husband, bipolar, and social anxiety. And that's what these mental breaks or mental escapes are. They're getting away from people in your life. Family vacations, family trips, I hate to say it, are not escapes for most people. They are for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's just going through the same things in a different environment.
Exactly what it is.
Something that's really becoming popular now that they're doing for mental health and to help people that are struggling mentally is microdosing.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
Mushrooms, like mushroom tea.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple companies that are coming out, and I mean it's going to be a huge thing, and they're all about mental health. But there is a lot of scientific backing behind microdosing with psychedelics that are helping reset people's minds. And you would think, well, if you're mentally hurting and you're depressed and you're suicidal or whatever have you, how can I take something that's psychedelic and I'm not going to have a bad trip, and like back in the day. Well, they, of course, are doctors and hospitals, and they're not just going to come out and be like, hey, eat 3 caps and do this, put this under your tongue, and you'll see, Pink Floyd and all kinds of things, Supposedly, it is clearing the mind. It is really helping. And I think you're going to see a lot more of that. People can look it up on Google. There's tons and tons and tons. In fact, I bought stock in it because I think it's going to be a very huge thing of the future for our mental health.
Yeah, I got a buddy who I do stand-up with, and he's been doing it for about 3 years now. And before he did it, he was so depressed that it turned to anger, and his anger actually made him lose his job, and that just made it worse. And then he was just so mad, depressed, just like stand-up was his one thing, but it wasn't doing enough. He finally just tried the microdosing thing. It helped him so much. He was able to do better stand-up. He was able to get a good job after, and now he's doing great.
I've not heard nothing but positive about it. And I'm not no doctor, no professional, but I haven't tried it, but I'm willing to, because I've heard nothing but great things from hundreds and hundreds of people.
Well, briefly, before we get to, because I want to get to some other comments on here as well, if I can, Brian, but I want to touch on what you said with it. A lot of people think that we're not going to talk about it, but we are. Drugs. Because drugs can help you. And I'm talking about weed, and I'm talking about other things, and that apparently made Linny just go bye-bye. She's like, fuck that, drugs can't. But there's a moderation thing.
Right.
And that's what he's talking about with the microdosing is exactly what it is. You're not doing it to put yourself out of your mind. You're doing it to try to ease yourself and help you mentally and find ways out and find escapes and to focus. Because a lot of drugs have the ability to make you focus.
That's the thing with the microdosing. It's such a stigma on like mushrooms. It's like, oh, that's just that crazy party drug. Makes you see people's faces all turn purple. But it's in such a small, micro amount that's you're not feeling any like, psychedelic kind of thing. You're just actually, your brain's kind of taking the good parts of it. Honestly, they're like kind of introspection and looking at things in a different light, in a more positive way. It's kind of like a positivity spin on everything you're going through, and that's kind of the kind of thing you need to get out of that darkness you're in.
Like a reset, refocus, readjust kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Becky, how do you feel about those solutions so far? Do you think any of those are something that you'd work, or where is your question with that? I want to get to our comments again, but Wayne's got one I want to focus on afterwards, so I want to ask Becky.
As far as which suggestion?
Whether going through like the ideas of the microdosing or any of that you've heard so far, do you think any of those you have tried, anything you wouldn't do, anything you would?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're all good suggestions, good ideas. With the microdosing, I don't quite understand. Are the mushrooms legal?
Yes, what they're doing would be legal, and it'd be in such a small amount that it doesn't propose any threat to anything.
It is legal in like the state of Oregon and in a couple other states, I believe, at least another state, and it is becoming legal to do this. Psychedelics are actually starting to become legal in this country.
And just to extend on the microdosing thing too, they've been using, I can't think of the active ingredient in mushrooms that is actually what kind of helps the brain. It's actually, they're using it, and the UFC is doing a study that it's showing such good results for like CTE, which like it's not as bad in UFC as like a NFL because it's just quantity over quality is what gets CTE to be so bad. But they're showing real regenerative like healing using mushrooms in small amounts.
Yes, and that's what it is they're learning that a lot of the drugs that America looked down on, at least governmentally, and well, some people do as well, they're discovering that in the right dosage, they're very helpful. It's literally the difference in taking 4 Vicodin or taking 2 Tylenol. I mean, technically, when it comes to the acetaminophen, it's your dosage difference that makes a difference. Some will just help you a little bit, do what they need to do. Some will put you in a loopy state.
All in reality, every single drug out there, everything we just talked about, marijuana, LSD, mushrooms, prescription pills, pain pills, every one of them, if you take too much than your dosage, you're definitely changing your state of mind, your mind process, your thought process. So that's what, like Brandon was saying, is there these are doctors, and these are companies and foundations that are joined together that are doing this work, and they're doing like real research, and they're making it a dose to where like a certain pill that a doctor will give you for something, it's not like 100 milligrams of morphine, we're going to give you 5. Same thing. They're checking their microdose, right? The dosage. It's all about the dosage, anything can affect anybody differently.
You can, and it's the difference of getting the effects versus feeling the effects, and that is what the difference is in microdosing. You're getting the benefits of that drug without feeling the high of that drug.
Yes,
basically. So it is helping you without you being, because the problem with like weed and stuff like that. Now, whether you like weed or not, it's up to you. But the problem is people smoke it to where they don't know what's going on around them, to block out reality.
It's like having too many beers.
Right. But in the right dosage, it can still relax and keep you focused and do what you need to do. And that's what microdosing is. So it's something that is worth looking into in the future because they're finally looking drugs beyond drugs be bad.
And I think they were illegal because they don't want us to know what we're thinking and feel good.
Well,
No,
the
I'm just
problem
kidding.
is the problem with the legality is you're using drugs that are already illegal.
Right.
So you got to find a way to get around that without legalizing the drug itself.
Imagine this, guys. Okay, mushrooms are grown naturally with Mother Nature, with our trees, with our flowers. Marijuana is a seed; it's not a chemical. God planted it there for a reason. Now look how much it's helping. The reason why they're just now coming out with it, imagine if they would have come out with this 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Cocaine?
It does come from plants. So yeah.
It would shut down Big Pharma. It would shut down the insurance companies. It would shut down the pharmacies. It would hurt the doctors. It would hurt psychologists, psychiatrists. It would hurt everybody, insurance companies, all in a whole, because just like any other disease out there, if they gave us the cure for it, the people in charge, the bigger higher ups, would lose, and all of us, what does the Constitution say? We the people would have that control in some sense of way back, because now we're using a natural medicine instead of a chemical medicine, which to me, antidepressants and anxiety medication, all these help some people, some they don't. And the side effects of all these chemical, right? Your brain's already set up for a certain way. Once you introduce a natural chemical into it, it's going to act differently than something that is a chemical additive that you put into your mind and into your bloodstream and your brain.
Well,
You threw me off for a second, Keith, when you mentioned cocaine. I was like, oh, you're right. Maybe not all the healthy stuff is. And I was like, well, you don't want to eat poison ivy either, so it's not all good. But
I want to steer a little bit away because I don't want to hit the governmental and political aspect of any of this stuff.
No,
if we can avoid it. But no matter what you do, if you take any chemical, it's going to affect your brain. Saying things come from the earth and things are natural is not a good excuse to eat it. There are certain berries you shouldn't eat, anything out there you shouldn't be around, and there's other things that come from the earth that are natural. By that same token, there are stuff that is man-made that helps you out, that will get you in a better place, and there's stuff that's man-made, that Twinkies, for example, that'll kill you.
But like outside of like dosing or even any medication, like sans medication, there has to be better tips for just trying to pull yourself out of that like mental state where you feel burned out and tired. I can't think of any, but
in a sense, that's true. I wouldn't recommend turning to drugs and alcohol because most people who are really depressed do not know how to moderate that.
Exactly.
It just creates another demon.
Yeah.
It does.
However, there are drugs out there that we don't realize are drugs every day, and there's stuff like black tea and green tea.
Mm-hmm.
Things that are naturally good for your body that help you. Coffee. Things that give you energy, things that give you boosts, things that make you see clear and focus clear.
I think
they are drugs, and tea is an amazing helper for a lot of things. Tea is a miracle item, really. It's a natural leaf, however you want to say it on there. Most of them are. But it's a miracle thing, and it can help put you in different moods. It can help elevate you out of things that you're stuck with, because it relaxes you. But that's not the only thing. There's a lot of natural herbs out there that will do that. I want to get off the drugs, though, and off of this stuff for a minute. And I want to move in to the next comment. We've got a lot of comments, but I want to focus on Wayne's for a minute. He says he's stuck in a loop, to be honest. It's been that way for so long. I'm not sure I want to go through that loop to something better. And are you saying even though this loop is bad, you like that loop? Like you're afraid of change? You're afraid of alteration?
Like it's the best loop you've been in, but you don't want to try for a better loop and then end up
going worse,
regressing.
Worse. So I'll wait for your answer on that.
I'm still trying to figure out what the loop is.
Maybe he's
monotonous life. The monotonous life, working, bar, home, work, bar, home, work, bar, home.
Okay.
It's kind of getting caught in your comfort zone, right? I used to go to the nightclubs all the time. I used to go all over the place, different places, and meet different people, and I was an outgoing person that went everywhere. And I'm close to my home place that a few of you know that you go to the same place at times, and it's a half mile from my house. It's a lot of really great people that go through a lot of the same kind of things we all do. It's a lot of great people who become a family, and you become a part of people that understand you. And especially out in a different kind of world, the way things can get outside, you feel uncomfortable out there. So once you get into a comfort zone where you're staying somewhere that really makes you feel like you're wanted or you're not alone, makes you happy, it's kind of hard to not be attached to it, right? It's easier to stay attached to something you're comfortable with than to step out and be detached, and walk into a different room when you're not sure what's going to be in that room when you get there. So there's a lot of things behind that can keep you in that same loop.
But
And
let
it's
me
not
argue
easy.
with that. I want to
It's not
argue with
easy.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the things you're talking about is like when you go to the bar and people become like family and they're for you. I disagree with that. Because a lot of times you're not solving anything at the bar. You're putting yourself around people who are doing the same things as you but not trying to take the steps to make it better. And that's not going to get you out of your hole because you're going to be hanging around the exact same people with the same problems. It's just like somebody who's trying to quit drugs who has to eliminate the people who are on drugs from his life
Right.
in order to see past it. And I'm not saying for everybody because I love the people at the bar, and you're right, they are like family. But you are putting yourself in that exact same situation where you're not finding an escape. You're just finding people who are like you, not wanting to be better than you are.
And then you end up in that definition of insanity, thinking the same thing is going to help when it didn't the first time over and over.
And that takes us to Wayne on his loop thing. Because Wayne loves his bar people. Wayne loves his,
Right.
he loves that, but he can't escape that loop. And when you do that, it just becomes another part of the loop. There's no escape. And he said he is afraid because, I'll bring it back up again. His response was he is afraid, and that's why he's broke because of alcohol and gambling.
I was going to add to that too, Keith. That no, you're right. I don't hang up there every day, and I might stop and get a bite to eat. I might go up there 2-3 days a week. I might go out on a week and hear the band. But that's because it's close to home, and I work every day. It's 7 days a week, right? I was kind of sharing it with Wayne, because it is easy to go somewhere where you feel comfortable around those people. Like you said, maybe those people aren't always the right people for you to be around, and they keep you trapped in that loop, right? You keep going in that loop because those people that may not be the best thing for you to be around all the time are what make you feel comfortable. And that's what I said, until you step out of that comfort zone and find, go to Top Golf, go to Myers and walk around, go
Yeah.
to go to a ball game, go out for a walk at a park.
Pick a different venue or location for a change.
Like
And just do it once.
I go to the
you know.
casino. I go for a bike ride. I go for a walk. I do a lot of different things to spread it out a little bit. But I'm just saying, I used to be really outgoing, and as time has gone on with some personal stuff in my life, I found myself very comfortable that I don't drink and drive, and I'm right by my house. It's a comfortable place for me to go, but I don't let myself stay in there because you're right. A lot of the people that are in there 7 days a week are dealing with their own personal stuff, and they're dealing with theirs. And sometimes in this world, there's a lot of people that want you to be there for them, but they don't want to, or they don't know how to be there for you.
So, Becky, I have a question for Becky after you guys are done.
No, go ahead.
So, as he was talking, you were making like a sighing kind of face. Do you feel like sometimes I know having a special needs child that trying to get out to do anything, it's a lot of work to try to find someone to take your role over. Do you have help like that somebody could give you time and space to be able to do something like that, to go for a bike ride, to go for a walk? Are you able to do that on your own?
Well, not so much right now. I mean, my husband is home in the evenings and, on the weekends and that. So, yeah. So he if I needed by myself, but then, he's really the only one right now. All the older kids have moved out. So there's nobody, they used to watch him for us, and he and I could go. And I guess I took issue with Keith's argument against what Brian had said, because now what I found a family at the bar, and they helped me get in a better place than where I was, so that I was able to do what I needed to do for everybody else. because it was, when I first started going up and singing and that, I was not in a good place, not at all. And it was you, and it was Johnny, and it was everybody there. And that you guys just you helped us. You didn't even realize you were doing it, but you were putting me in a completely different mindset than where I was when I first walked in the door there. So I was able to go through and do the things for my family and for my son that I needed to do. And so I would say that it depends on the people, the family, and it depends on, what your mindset is and why you're going there.
Which is true.
An important thing that Keith said was just the one part where he said, try it once. And maybe if you didn't go to the bar, you went once to see, or to the park, or, out to a movie, trying something. Just do it once to see how it makes you feel. And if it makes you feel better, then you can kind of gauge if that was actually an improvement. And then you're in this next better loop. And then you can be like Wayne and go, well, this loop is better. I don't want to try something else and end up in a worse loop.
Right.
It's a scary balance, but you kind of just got to try stuff once, see what makes you actually consistently feel.
And in Wayne's case, who we were talking about at the time, his case, that bar is part of that loop.
Right.
So, Becky, what you said is true. You went there and it changed your life, but that wasn't part of your depression to begin with, or your feeling to begin with. So it was something new. That was your escape. That was your step out. Like I said, if somebody who never goes to the bar could be a good solution to meet like-minded people. But you also made friends with those people outside of the bar.
Yes.
And that is a huge impact than just seeing your bar family and leaving.
That's the next loop. That's a higher loop.
That's the step difference.
That's the loopy loop.
I met
lots of loopy talking.
That does. I've got people that I golf with, that I play cards with, that I go to the casino with. We go to concerts with, or a different place and look at a live band, or just talk to each other on the phone, send snaps, do different things. When somebody's down, we send each other something and lift each other up. You can have an impact on people just as much as they can have an impact on you.
Okay, really quickly, I want to move on because we got lots of comments and, lots of time going by. So, Bill says, hi, Sylvia Lewis is here. We'll get to that in a second. Jan says, hell, I even used to give my kids a break from school one day a month. Stay home, but you can go outside till school is out. You can't go outside until school is out. My mom did that for me on an occasion. You can stay home from school, but you can't do anything until you technically be home from school. But it's a good break because even kids need that. We act like us adults as we get older, and I even said it earlier, as you get older it gets worse, but kids deal with it too. Monotony is damaging, and whether or not alcohol is involved, or drugs, or just life or work, monotony is damaging.
There was so much homework.
Yeah, oh God, you're right.
I needed a break.
By the way, the company, if you go visit your mom, the company can stay upstairs, just so you know. Sonia says, Bill McLean says, hey, Billy. Oh, Billy. I'm going to call him Billy from now on. How's it going? And thank you. This is my friend's podcast, Sunday, Wednesday. Good to have you. I saw him when he texted this. I don't know what he was referring to when he said, are you sure Becky didn't write that?
I think it was the she needs to get away from her husband comment.
Yeah, that was probably it. That's
my husband.
Okay, that would make sense. Sylvia says it's neat. Thank you very much, Sylvia. We love doing this. Jan says, I can't handle weed. She gets paranoid, and some can't. See, I don't like weed. Like I said, I've been trying gummies lately because I have my sciatica is back, and I can barely move right now. So I was trying the gummies to help out. But I don't like that feeling of not being in control. And if weed gets you that way, then don't smoke weed.
Right.
Don't let anybody push it to that point or anything like that. But there is something out there. And there are escapes we're going to get into shortly that are not the healthiest escapes either, but they're still escapes. And sometimes you have to pick and choose the unhealthy item you go with. Because not everything is going to be perfect, natural, and good.
What's it going to be? Dogfighting? What are we doing?
Dogfighting works. Bill says he's growing a jack fire tree in the backyard. Bill, you're my new best friend.
That's awesome.
We will be there for shots.
Absolutely. And finally, Bill says, I am right unless you're going to his trivia and you are the king. Of course I'm right. I'm Keith. I'm always right. But anyway, that's part of it. Okay, I just wanted to get through those comments really quick. But let's reflect back to unhealthy escapes. and a lot of us do this. Probably one of the biggest ones for people, and oddly enough, I'm the fat guy on here, but I don't suffer from this as much, is food. Food is an escape for a lot of people. I don't, because food is usually, and going back to the whole bar concept, I could apply to me. Food is something that's already a problem in my life, so I can't use it to escape. And that goes back to the same bar thing. If the bar thing is already part of your life, you can't use the bar for an escape. So what are some unhealthy possible alternatives that people do when they feel trapped on here? Anybody out in the chat, feel free to share your opinions. What are some unhealthy options you do that you know you shouldn't, but it still helps you out?
Chocolate.
There's
An
that thing.
abundance of chocolate. Makes me happy every time. Until I get on the scale the next day.
And she watches Willy Wonka instead of Wizard of Oz.
She gets wild. It's one of those nights.
Exactly.
The devil's advocate, Al Pacino, said being in love is no different than eating large quantities of chocolate. Chemically, there's no difference. There are other things out there, and chocolate can be a big killer, but it does. It releases in your
happy.
head.
It releases the happy.
It releases the happy that's trapped inside.
Exactly.
What about the others on the panel or anybody in the chat? Or what are some unhealthy options that you often choose to try to get away? I'm holding one right now.
Eating habits and not exercising.
Yeah.
That's
a good point.
Easy to be lazy the older you get.
And exercise makes me feel good.
It's easy right now.
Well, see, exercise makes you think good, and it makes me feel good too. But the problem is stepping out to do it.
It's
hardest part.
Like I got a gym in my basement. If I had a roommate or somebody here that wanted to do it and push each other,
then you need a partner in crime,
right? Like, but I'll go buy a thing at the gym, at that whatever you call it gym. I'll go there and get one if somebody wanted to, but. Because I need somebody to push me, just like I want to push. It's nice to have somebody to push each other. It really
friendship accountability.
Yeah, very well said. Perfect words right there, Brandon, for sure.
So Becky, you want to go out for some chocolate?
Exactly.
That way she can push you to eat chocolate, and you can push her to eat chocolate.
No, I have a problem with food. I really do. It's horrible.
Are you gluten?
Do you mean, do I eat gluten?
Do you need to eat? Do you have to eat gluten free, or have you ever been checked for that?
No.
Oh.
That's good. You still have flavor in your food.
That actually can have a lot to do with people's I'm learning much at my age right now because with my disease I have, I can. My doctor wants me eating vegetables and fruit and water.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And I love sweets and chocolate and food. Period. It's tough to change and find a new thing in life when you've been used to it for 52 years. Now I've got to change my whole lifestyle just for my own health.
Right.
Just to keep going, right? And then how do you, again, it's depression, anxiety, frustration. There's so much, and I'm hurting and I've got a lot of stuff going on in my body. Well, so it's going to hurt me up here because I can't figure it out, or I try everything and it's not working. It's a cycle. There's so much behind it.
And even just to use the gluten as an example, look into maybe some underlying things you don't know about. Try and figure it out. Like some people have like small reactions to gluten. Not like I got a buddy with celiac, and he had a pizza one night that wasn't gluten free on accident, and he was curled up in the fetal position all of New Year's. But like some people have it on just a small amount, and it's not enough to make you like feel sick or notice that that's what's doing it, but then all of a sudden you figure out it might be that, you stop eating gluten, and all of a sudden your body feels 10 times better. And you didn't know.
That's the thing that I wanted to bring up with the food, because food is obviously, like I said, something a lot of people turn to, and I don't. But I've learned those things about that. Certain foods you eat also pull you down, and it's not just gluten. People drink a lot of pop. Pop is terrible.
Sugar's terrible.
It is. It's something that drains you of energy. People used to say pre-pandemic, definitely not since pandemic, that I am very energetic, that I have just a lot of energy and I'm happy, and that they don't see that in a guy my size, being a big guy, but I always am. And it's because I learned a long time ago that paying attention to what you're eating is important. Not dieting, not eating 100%, but if you're binging on potato chips and pop and sweets, like you said, sugar, all those are draining foods, and all those put you in a mood where you don't want to move. You ever notice you go and eat a big unhealthy meal? What do you want to do afterwards?
Sleep.
Nap.
Yeah, you're drained.
Food coma.
And it's because it takes so long for your body to process these items. And that's why you're drained out, because it's still sitting there and your body can't do anything. So you pick different things. You pick healthier choices, but not necessarily the healthiest of choices on there. And that can be a big impact if you're always drained and because the repetition that we go through is the same type of deal. Because not only are we repeating those mistakes in our life or the same things that are putting us in a dark place, but we're repeating the things we used to treat them. So we're still either drinking or we're still eating the junk foods to cope with this depression. And what we're doing is we're eliminating the possibility of breaking out. So switch to it. And I said a long time ago, or not a long time ago, a couple weeks ago on one of our Sunday shows that water is your friend. Water is the biggest friend you have in the world as far as any food or drink goes. Because no matter how you're feeling, if you constantly drink enough water every day, and I'm not going to go with the 8 ounces, the gallon, whatever people are saying you got to drink every day. I think it's 108 ounces is what you're supposed to drink. But if you continuously drink water and give up certain things for that water, your energy is going to come in because water cleanses you of those bad things. It is a crucial thing to add, and it sounds so trivial, but it can help pull you out of these moments because you're replacing things in your body to make your body say, I want something better. I want to get out. I want to do more. Vitamin supplements. Those work for some people too. Now, if you take some of this and you don't notice the change, then stop taking them.
And chase it with chocolate.
Chase it with chocolate. Exactly. Exactly. There's a lot of options out there. You don't have to give up the things you like, but you do have to learn to you got to learn the cause. You got to find the root cause. It's not bad to have something unhealthy to be your escape. That's not a bad thing. It's a bad thing to add something unhealthy to you being trapped. So, yeah. Well, people always think like, I don't want to do this or I don't want to have that, and that's the problem. They won't go to it because it's a gateway to another problem or something like that. You got to figure out where the problem lies. There's people that are happy and energetic who have junk food all the fucking time and don't care, and their body just says, fuck, ooh, junk food's shooting that out. So it's fine. It just knows how to process this and get rid of it. And there's other people that adds to it. You got to find out what works for you, and you have to find out what's keeping you in your place. Becky, what is keeping you from going outside and taking that walk?
I don't know. I guess
Okay.
I guess it's I've been in this for a year now, and now the normal, being afraid has turned into now I don't even know how to go outside or go to a store or go anywhere.
So
I don't
backtrack.
know.
Okay,
What's that?
so we backtrack. So you got to ask yourself, okay, I don't know what's keeping me from going outside and for a walk or to the store. Okay, what's keeping you from going to the door? What's keeping you from getting up off the couch?
Could I ask Becky?
Laziness.
So you gotta narrow it down to the one problem you can fix. Go ahead, Brandon.
No, I was wondering, Becky, was there a time in your life before quarantine where you felt this way at this level, or no?
No, not
Not
quite
at
so
this
bad.
intensity.
No, I mean it was bad, but my husband and I, we did a lot of traveling, so just the change in physical space would help.
That might be the issue.
And now I can't, we can't travel. So
Well, you're going to be able to again.
Yeah.
That is one thing to try to look forward. Those who are affected the most by the pandemic is try to look forward. It's going to go back to normal.
Man, especially if the traveling helped Becky and now she's not going anywhere else, that's probably even regressed extra because the traveling's what helped, and if that's taken away, then your big help is taken away. Mm-hmm. So it's like imperative to try and find a way to take baby steps towards, not like, I'm not talking like a broad travel, I'm just like getting out is extra important for you.
You know, Oh, go ahead.
Do you feel any anxiety toward going to your campground, or are you excited by that to do
No,
that?
I'm excited by it. I'm excited by it because I
think that'll
know
help.
that there's usually nobody there during the week.
Right.
They're just open to seasonal sites, so it's just the people. So I don't have to see anybody. I don't have to talk to anybody. I can have my own little plot and my own little space, and then I don't have to,
That's going to be her microdosing of travel.
Yeah, that's a good point of it.
Yeah.
Going to a museum is a good one. It's quiet. Not everyone has the same problems in life you do. You may even learn something new. There's another thing that I find actually this helps me a lot. I do computer programming and building and all that because I'm a tech geek, whatever on that one. But education is so helpful. Educating yourself on things, learning something new, that is one of the best things you can do to break out of anything of monotony. Because all you're doing is introducing new stuff into your life. No matter what it happens to be, you want to learn how to work on a car, you want to learn how to program a computer, you want to learn a new language. No matter what, you cannot stay in any kind of monotonous lifestyle. We're going to repeat this in like 2 weeks for the monotony show. But you cannot stay in that lifestyle. It is physically impossible when you throw in a wrench of new knowledge into the gears.
Dude, Brian looks like a slideshow of photos of a guy from Sons of Anarchy.
It's
And
like
then-
you're changing your state of mind. Your brain's wired to stay in that place that you're at. But once you start, like you said, Keith, when you jump into new things, you try something new, you try something different, you get involved with other things that are different, or even get out of your comfort zone, something you've never done. You are still doing things that are changing your mindset from what you've been used to and gotten comfortable with.
Rearrange
Yeah.
your house.
That's something that helps me too. I've
Paint a
done that.
room.
We've been
Yeah.
remodeling, and that's
Yeah.
just driving me crazy.
But when it's done, it'll be worth it. Tony's Big McBreakfast 2 times. Yeah, I couldn't do that, by the way, Bill.
That'll make you.
Selena
need the
says her
food
mom
coma.
did the spelling of her name, but she's also said she's a jewel on there. Is it Selena or Silena? Now that he's corrected me, I didn't know if it was Selena or Silena, but
Silnia.
it's not Silnia. That's what I was
Oh.
already corrected on. It's not.
Oh.
It's Lena.
Lena
Jan
works.
says she keeps no soda in the house with plenty of water, fruit, and veggies. I even make the dogs food so I know what is in it. Well, that's maybe extreme, but I know a lot of people that actually do that. I just give them. I pay attention to what I buy them, but I don't make their food. But yeah, keep those things in the house. And when you're depressed, go and grab a piece of fruit. It'll do a lot more for you than it will be a bag of chips. And it's not about losing weight. It's literally about the chemicals in your brain. It's not about anything else. It's about putting the balance back in there. And Bill says his name is spelled Billy, like female Billy. Okay.
Well, not only because of Billie Eilish. Maybe like
Oh, yeah. Well,
back in the
female
day,
Billie.
Billy was probably definitely a like the male spelling.
Oh, Billie Holiday, Billie Jean
Yeah.
King. Billy is always IE. Like females are Billy. I know Billies that are IEs. Well, they're guys, but I just wanted to mess with Bill a little bit.
Yeah,
To
it's
stop
just
sticking
fun.
up for him. Yeah. Jan says she keeps her sanity by going to her daughters for days. No one is calling me. I do what I want. Don't have to be on call 24/7. If you have a friend that you want to just get out there and spend some time with them, that can help you greatly too. Like she says, in this case, Jan is her daughter. Family is important. Some people, unfortunately, are without family. Bill says congratulations to Allie. She's on here sometimes. I don't know if she's watching right now, but congratulations to Allie. I don't know what for. But congratulations. Jan says art places are fascinating. They are. And that goes back to the museum thing. And that's the thing about the museums, too, when you talked about the education. Oh, you're just bragging because you got something on your wall there.
Gotta plug it.
But that is an education thing, too. And visual imagery sticks in your mind. And the right visual imagery is something that's going to pull you through as well. Mm-hmm. And here's a big one, especially right now in the spring, yard work.
Yuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yard work may sound yuck, but the results when you're done make you feel so good. I don't
That's
care.
fair. That's fair.
It is. It's yuck to do, and if you're like one of those people that'll spend weeks on your yard, it's a really good hobby to get
There's
into.
something to that accomplishment at the end.
Yes. But that's the other thing that I want to point out with all this stuff, whether it be education, yard work, finish what you start. Don't quit. because then you look at a half-assed job and you will feel worse.
Mm-hmm.
Keep at it. Don't take a break. I mentioned earlier that I play video games sometimes. It's one of the worst things I can do. Because when I'm done playing, I put myself in kind of a lazy state and I don't want to move now. You know, I spent days just playing a game to try to get my mind out of the gutter, and it's one of the worst things I can do too. But, you know, get out there. You know, break down the wall. And Becky, what is your wall really built of? And what is the really big block for you?
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I don't know if it is just in fact all of the pandemic, stuff going on, or if there was something underlying that this just kind of built on top of. I honestly don't know.
So it started building for a while, and the pandemic just sat on your head pretty much. Like, it was getting worse and worse, and the pandemic came and said, fuck it, it's all gone, it's all done.
Yeah.
And I think a lot
because
of
then
us,
I didn't have my escapes. I couldn't do my traveling.
And to point out, not having your escapes in the pandemic, everybody is really going through a similar situation, but not the same. Obviously, it's harder on people who are dealing with it pre-hand. And unfortunately, we've done it for a year. I mentioned a lot of things doing them for a week can put you in a spiral. Well, we've all been doing this for a year. We have to learn how to enjoy life again. We have to go back and remember what we did, how we got out before, what was our plan. We can remember our happy times, step back before those times were had and find out what you had to do to achieve those. Mm-hmm. They were second nature, but they're not anymore. A year is a long time in our lives to have things stripped away from us.
Sorry, I was laughing at that tattoo flex. That was pretty dope.
Oh, I was scratching my shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Brian's
my
like,
shoulder's
"Look at
itchy. Check this out.
And Brian, you brought up another good point of something to do through the private chat. Why don't you tell us about that? What's another good idea?
Get out and go to the park. People watch. Go to a mall and just walk around and just people watch, and then be around nature. Getting out around go listen to the waves. Go out by Lake St. Clair or to Stony Creek Park, or go for a bike ride. Get around nature. I mean, it's amazing when you get up, just get away from everything and just go away. And it's so relaxing, and mentally, it can reset your mind and you can refocus. And like Keith said, though, just 5 minutes. Stretching when you get out of bed in the morning. It's so huge to start your day. Mm-hmm. Walking and looking in the bathroom and smile. No matter how you feel inside, tell yourself, I'm beautiful and I'm gonna kick ass today. This is what I'm gonna do today. If you start your day off with a positive affirmation, you'll get a positive feedback to yourself.
That is important. That is really important. Starting your day off in the right way, whether it be stretching, whether it be for some people a walk.
It's not easy.
No, but it will make the rest of your day so much better. Allie is here. She says thank you.
Yay, congrats. We still in the way.
We don't know why, but congrats.
I think that was a picture of a baby, though. So
once you do it, you get so did. It's just getting repetitive. Doing.
It is. It is. I think that's her daughter's. I think that's her granddaughter's.
Nice.
Or grandson. I'm not sure.
That's cool.
Not Jessica's. Is it Jessica's?
And you can't just go out and do it once a week, and because you're just gonna fall back in that hole. You've got to make yourself do it. Unfortunately, there's no remote control, no buttons, no batteries for it. You've got to get consecutive and consistent with it.
And once you do, that's the funny thing about loops in your life.
Congrats, Jess.
Is they apply to not just bad times.
I deal with this all the time. I do this myself. Every day. I've told Keith about it. I deal with this stuff, and I am right now. I have been for a while, where I don't get consistent and go do things to better myself, and it's my fault. But it is hard to step through that door sometimes. It's hard to get out of that concrete when you're still stuck. I understand. So I guess all I want to share with you on that is stay strong and reach out to us and know that you're not alone, because I deal with it they deal with it. You know, we all deal with it maybe in different ways, but a lot of stuff you said, I comprehend and I understand. So understanding is half the battle. We help educate each other to know that we're not alone going through that. And to me, we all need hope. And that's the biggest part of hope is knowing that you're not alone.
Yeah,
Right.
and like just like when I was in that place and like I wasn't leaving the house, and it might have been obvious for sure different reasons. One thing that would even intensify it and make it worse that I did identify I was making it worse in my own head was I would get upset and more upset with myself for not taking a step that day, and then the next day the same thing. So I'd almost be like mad at myself and more mad at myself for not, taking a step, and whether or not I was ready to or anything, it kind of starts to build up.
Well, like Jan said here, follow through on your ideas. Just try it. It might surprise you. And as I said briefly on it with the loops, that will become a loop that you're trapped in, but it'll become a loop that's going to make you feel good throughout the day and willing to try other things and pull you out, whether it's a morning exercise, breakfast for some people, taking that walk, stretching, taking a shower in the morning for some people is enough. Some people, like me, I work nights and I'm up most of the day, so I don't actually take my shower typically until I'm about to go to work. But if I take one in the morning, I feel 100% refreshed. And I'm like ready to do something because I'm not following that same routine. Break out of it with any little thing you can. Thank you. Danny says she has a bonfire every night for peacetime, having one as we speak. Nice. Well, I'm a little jealous, but that's another good one to do too. And whether anybody's there or not, I don't know, but it shouldn't stop you at all.
That's where I want to be.
It doesn't rain.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I hope it doesn't rain, Danny. Wayne says hi to Danny as well. Jan White says, and this is the education thing, I just picked up knitting, crocheting, cross stitch again after years of not doing it. My mind is what I am doing, and if need be, I can always go back to it if I need to put it down. And that's it. Find something to break it up. It may start inside. It may start in your trapped four walls.
So I just pictured someone showing up to a CrossFit gym with like 2 needles, like, oh, I misunderstood.
Cross stitch.
But Keith, that her comment right there by is that by Jan?
Yes.
That is so true. And on my Amos by Hope page, you'd be surprised at all the things we've talked about tonight, and all the people around the world that come on there and leave the comments or message us. That is a big thing that a lot of older people are doing, and people are learning. Younger people are learning from them is crocheting and making blankets and all these things. They're learning new crafts. They're doing a lot of Pinterest. Pinterest is the stock is fly high, and the company's doing phenomenal over the last year because of this. There's so many things, like TikTok and different things. Even though I think everybody needs to take a break from phones, tablets, the news, social media.
That's another escape that people need to do, and it's as simple as a power button.
Yeah,
yes.
Seriously, if you've never done it, just turn your phone off for like an hour. You're like, this is the longest hour ever, and it's just so nice.
Switch to Malcolm in the Middle for a minute if you want to watch something. Don't watch things that are going to bring you down. Stay away from your news.
Leave your phone at home and go away for like an hour. Within 5 minutes, you'd be like, shit, where's my phone? You'd be like, damn, like a lifeline, like I need it. But if you can continue to go away for an hour or two without it, you come back, you're like, damn, I didn't need it. I mean, we didn't need it 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or baker cook something and then bring it to someone that might be needy. That's another thing, make you feel good. That you're making someone else feel good.
Even to top that off and go one step further, do it for yourself.
Yeah, but then I eat and have to get on the scale, and then I see the pounds go up, and then I'm all depressed.
Why? Who said you had to make him cook something unhealthy?
I would. I would do like a big lasagna or something, just eat the whole thing.
So
Back
what?
it up with some chocolate.
So what?
See, Lenny, you make it, you look at it, and then you throw it away, and then everyone wins.
Nope, I make it and I give it to someone else. Bring it to my neighbor.
But what I was getting at was cook yourself your own meals sometimes. A lot of people who get in this situation live off Hot Pockets and TV dinners and fast food. They're quick, easy, simple. But there is pride to cooking a meal for one. There's something to be said. Anything you do for others, you should try to do for yourself every once in a while.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, what were you saying, Brian?
I just want to share something with Becky. and anybody else out there that might be feeling or going through something, and some of the situations I've heard tonight, there's I have a lot of friends and people I've met over the last 3 years since I started speaking and getting involved with, the public and trying to help with mental health and suicide prevention, which intertwines a lot of stuff we really talk about every day. And I've kind of become a life coach to some people and a mentor to some youth and some other people. And I'm saying this because there's some that have got involved and put a women's chapter together, and they go out and do events and do raffles, raise money. They go out and help. They go to a couple of my friends. One of my friends owns a Horses for Healing Hearts out in Fenton. You can go out there and ride the horses or help him with the special needs and people that have special needs. This would be great to do for you. You can go out there and they have therapy horses. You can ride them. You can help them with the other people. These are great things. They're therapeutic, and getting out and going and walking people's dogs or going to a pet store. There's a lot of women's groups out there, though, in our areas and everything, too, that you can get connected with. If you ever want to get connected with a couple of females that I know that are all become friends of mine through doing this kind of stuff, I'd be glad to connect you with their groups or something like that, if you ever were interested. But look online. There's a lot of groups, and don't be afraid to get on there, because a lot of them people are afraid too until they walk through that door.
The biggest thing I want to point out, and it kind of relates to what you're saying there to anybody out there, stop saying no. When your friend says, let's go out, let's go to dinner, let's go to even the bar, or let's do something, stop saying no and get out of your own little pissed off world.
Dude, there's something to that movie, Yes Man, and it's not just Zooey Deschanel's eyes. There was after watching that movie, I actually kind of went through my own little form of that, just saying yes whenever people invited me out, and actually I felt pretty good after it. I got more motivated. I felt like I had more energy, even though I was doing more.
Becky doesn't know. Becky kind of changed my life when I was going through some of the same things. At one point, she invited me to go to a place I'd never been for my birthday. Fogo de Chao, which is phenomenal, by the way, if you ever get a chance to go. And it changed my life, and all I wanted to do when she invited me was say no. Because I'm depressed, and I don't want to bring my depression around other people, or I'm down, and I don't want to bring other people down. What happened, though? The person who invited me and myself felt amazing. You changed the direction my life was going in. You made me want to do more things. And I'm forever grateful for that. To you, it was just a dinner. To me, it was my world. And you got to take that advice as well. You've got to be willing to go out and do things as well and stop. This bubble we live in is fucking awful. It really is. We're stuck and we don't want to leave, and we don't want to bring our misery onto other people. But the truth is, a lot of us will be happy if we just say, yes, let's do that.
Pop
yes,
the bubble.
Let's go over. Let's go have a barbecue. Let's do something out of the ordinary. And that's the biggest thing, and that's why mental breaks is a topic right now. Getting out of the ordinary. Really quickly, because we're way backed up here. First, let's settle the Allison thing. Granddaughter, yes, 9 pounds, 6 ounces. Everybody says congrats and thank you, which very much should be. Congratulations, Allie.
Hi, Allie.
Jan says bonfires, you look at the fire and it clears your mind. Fires are great for that. Careful, don't turn into a pyro, but yeah, fires are cool. Wayne Green is jealous of that, the bonfires. That reminds me, Lenny, gotta make peanut butter cookies tonight to bake. Send some our way, please. I love peanut butter cookies. I don't like a lot of sweets, but peanut butter is a weakness.
And then you
Bill
put that chocolate on the top.
And
The Hershey's Kiss.
Don't fuck up the peanut butter cookie with that Hershey Kiss. Don't listen to her.
No, those are good because you get to have a peanut butter cookie by spinning it and eating the outside.
I don't want fucking chocolate on it. I want my peanut butter fucking cookie. All right, Lenny. Bill has a direct line to Godiva.
I'm in.
Joe's here. How you doing, Joe? He says, having just lost my grandma, I'm lost and broken, absolutely scared of anything and everything, and I don't know what to do. I've tried getting out for myself, but it honestly hasn't helped. Well, the thing I've got to ask you, Joe, is when you're getting out to do things, what are you getting out to try and do? Are you doing things that are totally what you did before that kept you in that same place, or are you trying to do something new? Are you trying to break out of that? Because that's something I think is really important. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, grief is grief. It's going to take some time. and just surround yourself by the people that you love and or things that you love to do. And just vent, just think, sometimes going for that walk and just thinking makes you feel one with the universe. I don't know why, but it just seems to. It makes you feel better.
There is something to that nature thing. There's just like another level on nature, and I think that's why this camping trip's going to really help you. It's just like another level of just getting outside of yourself and feeling better.
Nature is a cure-all. But the mistakes people make when thinking about that, they think to enjoy nature, they've got to take a trip to enjoy nature. They've got to go camping to enjoy nature. I've got, a lot of people don't realize this, but nature's literally right outside your house. Walking in the street, your local park. It doesn't have to cost money. It doesn't have to take a lot of time. But it will. That morning walk, and I don't do it like I definitely should. But every time I do, it helps me so much for the entire day. It stretches the body. It gets you motivated. It gets you moving. And when I leave for that walk, I feel fucking miserable. But when I come back, it's worth feeling miserable for that leave, because the rest of my day is going to be better. So definitely I'd stick with that. Joe, I'm very sorry to hear, of course, about your grandmother in Lost and Broken, but the grief, and what you said, grief is grief, that's going to stay with you. When I've lost, like I said, I don't really have any family left. When I've lost each one of them in turn, I haven't forgotten them. They're still there every day in my mind. But I do things in memory of them and for them. I do what they always wanted me to do. They loved the fact that I spent my life entertaining and making other people happy. And I'm not going to stop that because I'm fucking depressed. And it didn't happen the first year. And it took a long time for it to happen. But I realized they raised you to live for them. They raised you in a certain way so that you can continue on without them. To be in misery is, in a sense, a disrespect towards them, because it's not what they wanted. Not that you're disrespecting them, but every parent out there wants their child happy when they're gone. Not happy because they're gone, but still happy and enjoying life when they're gone.
So I understand the grief part, but I'm curious on what he's scared of. The everything and anything. What are you actually scared of? Scared to get out and about? Scared to be around people? Or
he responded to that. I'm going to put it up in 1 second. I want to get through these really quick to the bottom. TCS says, good advice, Keith. That was about just saying yes. And Becky, it's one thing she does to other people, and she pushes Tom, TCS, to do whatever, and he actually ends up enjoying it. Well, Becky, you got to learn to do that for yourself. Allie says, hi, Becky. She just realized that was you. Heart, heart, heart. And Tom says he's just lucky enough to be married to her. Well, that's because she changed your life. But, Tom, maybe you should try some of her pushing yourself. And maybe you should try to push her the way she's pushed you to help you so often, so long. Not saying you do or don't, but it can work both ways. And if you know what she did helped you, then keep trying, because Becky needs help right now as well. Wayne says, sorry for your loss to Joe. Jan says, Linny, it's my husband's sugar when I'm not home. It's for my husband's sugar when I'm not home. Quick fix the peanut butter cookies. And now the response from Joseph. I'm trying to do something new, but people keep asking me for help and everything, and I keep getting sucked back in because I can't say no to helping others, and it sucks. Okay, now to totally deflect from what I said previously, in these situations, learn to fucking say no. Say yes for things you'll enjoy. Say no to people who need you and are using you, and ask yourself on these people, how often are they there for you? Now, it took me a long time to get to that point with these people because I was the same person. Everybody would always say yes, no matter what. But when I started reflecting at how often these people are there for me, I realized there was a lot less people that I wanted to help anymore. Because they're using you. They're taking advantage of you because they know that you will always say yes. And right now is a time you don't need to be pleasing other people. You need to be pleasing yourself. You need to help you. You need to get through things. You're not going to get over this grief, and you're definitely not going to do it if you're spending your whole time feeling your life is lost, because not only did you lose some of the most important people in your life, you're spending everything you have left on others, you're putting yourself in a deeper, darker hole. And maybe you need to take a break from this. I always love to help other people. I did. Linny does. Becky does.
And you don't
know,
have to
I'm
be
sure
you
Brian
don't have
does.
to be mean. You can just simply say, right now I need to really
I need
spend
time
some
for
time
me.
on myself. Yeah. Because everyone does.
Yeah.
You know. And
You gotta
maybe say sometime in the future I might be able to help you with that, but right now I've got to work on me.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
gotta
sure
put
they'll
me
understand.
first.
And if they
to-
don't understand, you need to respect and understand for yourself why they don't understand. Because they're obviously not the caring person they once were. Because anybody, and I mean anybody, should understand this happened to somebody, and you need a break from it. And you need a break from them to deal with it. If they're saying, hey, let's go out and do something, that's the other question I want to ask you really quick. All these people that keep asking you to help them and do something, have they asked you to come out and have a drink with them? Have they asked you to come out and go somewhere with them just for fun? Because that's what you need right now. And if those people aren't doing that as well, you're doing a very big disservice to yourself. And I bike, Allison says, such a stress reliever. Biking as well as walking, same thing. I like bikes, but I'm a fat guy, so seat goes up my butt.
They have not improved seats.
They haven't. Why can they not improve a fucking bike seat?
Science has proven that our tates are getting smaller and the seats are the same.
Jan says to Joe, do things your grandma used to do, or better yet, what you did with her. You will hear her in your head, and she is always in your heart. That's actually really sound advice. I stopped doing things that I did with my mom and my grandmother. And I started to eventually bring them back. And people ask why I was still doing, for 10 years after my mom died, Sunday dinners, even if nobody showed up. Because it was a big thing to my mom. To cook a big meal on a Sunday and have people over, or do whatever you could. And little things like that do make a huge difference, because you will feel her there. You will remember advice. You'll remember different things that she said, and she'll be in your heart. He says, today I was driving and I heard wind chimes in my back seat. And I don't have it in my car, and it's the same thing that happens in my grandma's house since she passed away. Pay attention to the signs. No matter what you believe in, those people are there. And a lot of people say they do that to let you know they're still there watching over you. Okay? But there's more to that message. It's not just I'm still here. It's you can stop worrying. You can live your life. That's what I want. I'm okay. So pay attention to those little signs, like those wind chimes. They're very important. Any other thoughts on that? I'm sorry, I'm going through these.
Yeah,
No,
good advice.
Yeah.
I'm scared of everything. Some people to places like that. I'm scared of everything.
I think he
people-
meant from people
Oh,
to
from
places,
people.
things
Places
like that.
Okay. And it's a scary time. Nobody, when it comes to any kind of parental figures, grandmothers, aunts, uncles, most of us have been with them the whole life. You cannot understand what it's going to be like when you lose them until you do. So it's a very scary time. But just remember those people that were so strong, your mother, your grandmother, and everybody. They've been through the same thing. They at one point lost their parents. And they lost their grandparents as well. And they moved on and continued and made sure you had a great life on top of it. And that's what you have to keep doing. You have to let their memories shine through you. I still tell people to this day, when they tell me how amazing I am, and I am, to thank my mom, even though she's no longer with me, because that's who they're seeing. She made me who I am. Okay, understandable. Allie says, I just lost my mom, and I try every day to be so blessed to have had her for 85 years and know that she would be pissed if I didn't move forward. Uh-oh. And as hard as that is, and I knew her, your mom was incredible. Bye, Brandon. You have to pissed is not necessarily the right word to say people have to realize but realize that it is what they want is for you to move forward. Mm-hmm. They want you to continue. They want you to I don't want to say respect their life, but
Well, you think about if you died, if I died right now, I would want my children to live their life, completely. Just
yeah.
smooth, I would want them to be happy. I would want, if I had my partner, if I died, I'd want them to encourage them to find someone else.
And that's what it is, and that's what people have to realize. And Allie, you did it, and you'll find you're happier living for their memory. Absolutely right, because it's just so hard for me, and it's not going to get easier. But you're just going to learn how to move on with it. But I still, to this day, and probably will until the day I die, have these flashbacks of my family. Hey, fish. Okay. I know they haven't, and correction, 57 years. Okay. You had her for 57 years. I gotcha. All right. Yeah. I was going to say, damn, that makes you 85 years old.
I know.
Same thing. But yeah, she lived to be 85. And that's really important. And this is where escapes come in. And I know we just delved a lot into the death aspect, which is really hard for people to deal with and honestly shapes most of our lives in a lot of ways. But this is where we need those escapes. This is where you need to get out. You need to figure out that life is still out there waiting for you. I think that's probably the most important thing to take away from that. Any other thoughts? Nobody is the same. Everybody goes through things that they can't explain, and everybody gets caught in the same loops. We all can't find a way out of them, and we can't take the advice of everybody else and just put it to good use. But we need to find a way to break free. It may seem impossible to take a vacation. Wayne, it's not impossible. Take that vacation. You can go anywhere you need to. You can go local. You can go far. You can be right outside your front door. It doesn't matter where you go as long as you do it for you. And the big ultimate thing about mental and physical escapes is that you're not doing it to forget problems. You're doing it because it's for you. It will benefit you, not mask things from you. So keep that in mind as much as you can. Take the break. Listen to other people. If people want you to go out, say yes. Put yourself out there. If you're stuck in a monotonous, repetitive lifestyle, take one of those days and do something different. Then make it 2 days. And eventually you're not going to be stuck in that lifestyle anymore. Every single lifestyle we're stuck in is because at one point it was new. And we decided to make it loopable. The same thing can happen with positive attitudes. What the hell was that? Are you doing whippets over there? I was like,
it's ready.
Weird. But anyway, escapes are very important. Whether it's traveling, whether it's binging, no matter what it is, don't get stuck in that lifestyle because it's only one way you can go. It's downhill if you do not make a change. With all this, it is a spiral effect. No matter what your problem is, if you do not make a change for the positive, you are going to go downhill. But start small. Like I told Becky, maybe you can't go on vacation, can't go to the store, can't take a walk, can't get to the door, can't get up from the couch. Figure out where your problem is the hardest and work on that first. And then go a step further until you're out there. Because we need that break. You will be much more valuable to the people around you if you take time to make yourself happy first. Mm-hmm. And then you can do what you ultimately enjoy, which is making other people happy. But right now you're hindered and you can't. So change it and take the time and don't be afraid of it. Today's topic was, of course, I need to break mental and physical escapes because we all need breaks quite often. So I was glad to have everybody here for that. I didn't even realize some of the depth we would go into talking about this topic, but it was very deep in some ways because we don't always feel the same way. Coming up is our Sunday show, our open forum show, back this Sunday. Of course, we love that. That's any topic you want to talk about, current events, what's going on in our lives. It's just an open, free-for-all conversation, somebody to talk to who doesn't judge, who doesn't care. No conflict, no limits, no fear. We're here for you, and we're here for each other, and we should all be there for each other. However, on Tuesday is a special event. That's right, Tuesday, May 4th. May the 4th be with you, the Star Wars show. All right, that's where we're just going to break away from all the serious shit. We're going to talk Star Wars for a while, what we like, what we dislike, all the things. I'm sure we'll argue because everybody feels different. But why not do a Star Wars show? That's a special event.
No,
Wow.
that's the Maury Povich show.
So that is, but following that, the next day is Wednesday, and it's going to be the pains of pregnancy. Now, keep laughing. All right.
I have lots of experience. No.
I have lots of headaches also from it. So be here for that as well. So we got a full week coming up for you. We got one on Sunday, then one on Tuesday, then one on Wednesday as well. So that should be very exciting to have everybody be a part of. It'll be fun. That's just what we do. Don't forget, you can call into the show. You can chat live with us and like, share, subscribe, and follow Your Shoulder Voice on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We're on all those. But also, you can chat anytime. We're always available to talk just by going to our Facebook and messaging us through our messenger. One of us will usually respond to you as best as we can. We're always going to try to be there for you. Or go to our website. And like I said, that is currently turning into a social network. So of people that you're not just going to be able to talk to us, but absolutely anybody that feels like you do. And it's going to be reserved for non-judgmental people who like helping others or just need help or somebody there to talk to be members. And hopefully that's going to take off. That should be fully functional within the next few weeks. I've been working night and day on it. Is there anything I forgot on there? Like, share, subscribe, follow today's topic, next topic. I think we covered all that. All right, cool. I had to make
We're
sure
on LinkedIn.
We're on LinkedIn. We're not streaming yet. I've been applied. It's really hard to get streaming on LinkedIn. Though.
I didn't know LinkedIn streamed.
Yeah, well, they do, but hardly anybody does it because it's really hard to get it on there. So I want to say, of course, to Lenny. Why do I do it? And all this stuff, by the way, before we go to Lenny, Brian said in private chat, could have said it in person as well. Yeah, it's what makes us, all this stuff, Ear, Shoulder, Voice, it's what we do. It's what we like to do. It's what helping other people is what made us who we are today. But we age. We change. We have to start taking care of ourselves first. And don't worry, those people that need help will still be there. And if you take care of yourself, you'll still be there to help them. If you don't, well, you won't be there to help them. So how's that beneficial?
Right. You can't help nobody else if you can't help yourself.
Exactly. All right,
But
so Lenny.
so
Oh, go ahead.
No, I just said, but it's not easy.
It's not. Nope. Everything's hard,
Yeah.
but worth doing.
This right here helps people. This helps us. This helps each other.
Yes, it does.
Yep.
So I appreciate when you're a part of it. I really do.
Yeah,
Lenny,
thank you.
You have been amazing tonight, as always. I know you feel in that rut sometimes. I know, especially with everything going on in your life right now, you definitely feel you need that escape, and I hope you get that soon. This show has been an escape for us as well, and for me,
You're right.
primarily. And it is something we just put our energy towards something else, and it's something I never thought I would do in a million years.
Are we
I
still
never-
live, or are we on our own thing?
This
now?
is my closing statement right now. We're still live.
Okay.
And my goodbyes. So I appreciate that.
Thanks.
Becky, I'm so glad you were here for this.
Yeah.
The thing I most look for in the people on here is having somebody who doesn't necessarily know how to get through everything and who's struggling at the same time. So I could not thank you any more for being here, because it's been phenomenal and gave us something really to look at. It's sometimes hard when we all think we know how to get through it. And deep down, we don't. We still struggle. And it's nice to have somebody that says, well, wait, let's take a good look at this. So thank you.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you, Becky.
Yeah.
Me too.
Thank you. You guys are it was really nice not only to know that there's people going through the same things and feeling the same things, but to hear all of your ideas and know that, there's a lot of good ideas out there, and I'm definitely gonna try it.
That's what I like to
It
hear.
even helped me to know that Becky is in a place that I've been in, and it feels lonely. This is just me.
Know that,
I didn't know that about you, Becky. I was almost in tears when you first brought it up.
and then when
What's that?
That you're struggling and can't even leave the house and feel stuck like that.
Oh yeah.
I had the same disillusion with Lenny at one point. Thought everything was perfect. And I still am guilty of making those mistakes sometimes. So,
I literally do it probably 3 to 5 days a week. If I only go to work, and then the rest of the time, that's what I do. If I didn't have to go to a job, I'd probably do it a lot more often.
Brandon, Brandon, you're way too young to be bitching about this shit. Get up and do something.
Right.
All right.
Oh,
Now
if
is
you
the time to do it. Now is the time, because I'm going to tell you, as the years go by, it gets harder and harder, because as long as we're young, we always think there's tomorrow.
Good point.
When we get older, we look back and realize tomorrow was 10 years ago or more.
I'm chasing my passions now, so I feel better.
Well, you've got somebody to help you along. I'm very proud of that and happy for you on that one as well.
Thank
You've been great on here. I love having you on every show. We miss you. You haven't been on as often, but very much miss you. So thank you for being here. And Brian, Amos by Hope, fantastic organization. Fantastic to have you founding it, because you are one that generally cares about other people a lot, and you want to do everything you can to help people. You are an honor to have on this show. You are very insightful. You are very informative, and you are very talkative.
Full circle.
Hey, it comes from sitting at home all the time.
It does. I appreciate you being here, though. The stuff you say, you grab attention to people, because the stuff you say makes a lot of sense. And
I've been
it's
quiet
not
for 20
often that people can make me rethink my present stance on something, and you do. So I appreciate that.
I opened my voice in 2018. It was something I've been holding back since 1995, since my dad took his life by suicide. And my life has been a roller coaster ride, like Twisted in One from Cedar Point. Lows and bads, goods and bads, ups and downs, rights and wrongs, mistakes, growth, so much. But like I'll tell anybody, no matter how much you're going through something in life, look at you right now. If you're here on this video or if you're live, you have made it through 100% of your worst days ever.
Yep.
You've made it through 100% of your worst days ever, because right now is a new moment in your life. And so is every moment ahead of time. If I can make it through what I know I have, and a lot of people know, but most people don't know, anybody can make it through anything. That's what I look at in life. But I don't use that for myself, for my light. I use that to put light into other people's darkness. And when I turned that microphone on 3.5 years ago, my voice decided to run. And you know what? God is leading the way, and I'm going to let him take me wherever he wants me to.
That's beautiful.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to take my epilogue back, because that was but that was absolutely a fantastic phrase, that you have lived through 100% of the worst days of your life, and every single person has. Everybody who can watch this, so keep
Time
that
to
in mind.
sell T-shirts.
That's why I love you. We have T-shirts. We have merchandise. What now, Brian? There you go. Close it out for us.
And I've learned this, and I talk about it today in my live video on my page. If you're hurting mentally somewhere, you can't figure it out. You don't know the cure. You're going to doctors, you're not getting your answers, and you don't know what to do, how to fix it. You're going to, sooner or later, you're going to be hurting mentally, because you're trying to figure it out. Same thing if you're hurting somewhere up here, and you're hurting mentally, you're feeling alone, you're feeling like you don't matter, like you don't want to be here, like you want to give up, like you've lost everything. No matter what it might be, you're going to hurt physically, because your body's going to start stressing. You're going to notice and feel the tension. Your tongue's going to touch the top of your roof, and you're going to suck it down. You're going to realize it's stress. Your shoulders, if you drop them, you're going to feel it release. It's stress.
Yeah.
You're going to feel that pain. So if you're not right in your mind, you're not right in your body. If you're not right in your body, you're not right in your mind. They have to work together.
Take care of you first, absolutely. All right, now, Brian, tell everybody goodbye. Thank you, and we'll see you again soon.
Love you guys. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. Hey guys, Keith Litvin here for Ear, Shoulder, Voice. While you're here, why don't you like, share, subscribe, and follow so you can be notified of all our new broadcasts that we're bringing to you live every week, and live chat during the show. You can also head on over to www.earshouldervoice.com, find out more information, suggest topics you'd like to see our panel discuss, and even apply to be a guest panelist yourself. What's that look, Brandon?
I wasn't ready. There's a lot of energy out of nowhere.
Oh my gosh. I thought this was going to be like a sunshine, lollipops, rainbows, never stop show. Like all the good things we use to escape. Little
Yeah.
darkness in there somewhere. But wow, it's hard to realize how much people are suffering.
Yeah, well, especially now.
Yeah.
Who knew a mental health topic would go there?
But it's, you know what my most amazing thing about this is like everybody on the panel, and most of the time everybody we have on the panel is, you don't come off that way. I don't come off that way. We don't come off that way. And when you hear about what we're all dealing with, it's just like, if we hide it so well, how many people are out there can't?
Dude, that hammers home so much. You don't know what someone's going through. So when you get in like a road rage incident, or you're mad at somebody at the grocery store because they're in your way, it's like you don't know.
Yeah. Was glad you finally made it on here, Brian. Hello, Brian.
He can't hear you, but he can
Of
probably
course.
hear me.
We got to end like we started. I was like, he's smoking. We're still live. Yes, Tom. We're still live. We stay live for a few minutes after the show. As some people forget.
No, those are just sometimes things come to mind where, like this show tonight, the way it was for different things. If there's things I share with people or things I've learned myself or things I've come up with, whatever it is, I like to share techniques and certain things like that if they pop in my mind at the moment.
Oh, no. You talk well.
Amazing how many people I see help, in my organization stuff. It's crazy to see 10,000 people a month reach out and say how you saved my life today by sharing that one word or that one, technique.
Little by little, I'm discovering that stuff with this show. Like I'm finding people still to this day, and that's my. So with your following, I can't imagine how many times you constantly have to hear that, because it's got to feel good for sure. I'll be honest. When you first came out, I thought you were a dick. You wouldn't let me talk or anything. But then it turned out you couldn't hear me. I'm like Brian. I
was like, dude, I couldn't even complete my sentences if someone was talking.
I was like, oh, he can't hear me. He can hear everybody but me.
All I saw was this. And I'm like, what the fuck?
So he's like, I'm going to keep going on. He ain't
It's
stopping
like a Godzilla movie.
He's moving his lips, but he ain't saying shit, so I can keep talking. I was like,
Oh my gosh, too funny.
and it is
Oh my gosh. I don't know what happened. It was weird.
It happens sometimes. It's not my end. I actually use a central server for that purpose. Even if I had bad internet, the show would still go on. It's a central server.
I was trying to share it on my Famous by Hope and on my personal page. And then, because I went through the link and it took me right to Safari, right? So it's not on, I'm not on Facebook watching it. I'm watching it on Safari.
Yeah, if you go to the link to get on it, it's totally separate. It's not part of Facebook at all.
Right. He
It's
just
just
sends
streamed
the link
on
through
Facebook.
Facebook's Messenger.
Yeah.
I kind of heard that when I saw this tonight. I'm like, okay, it's not even a part of Facebook. It's just on there.
Yeah, it's just streamed to Facebook, and we still, because like Tom here, that's a YouTube comment. He's watching on YouTube. Some are on Facebook. We didn't have Cole Orton here tonight. That was weird. He's one of our Twitch. He's on here. I like him a lot.
So if I just go there
And Drina's awesome.
if I just go there and hit share of your video that's like playing with your background thing on it,
Yeah, it should be fine.
that's the video that we're doing, right?
Yeah, the
Right.
channel we're on, the page you're on right now, is only accessible for us. Nobody else gets to this page. The Facebook one, you're not sharing the link to get on the broadcast. You're sharing the link to watch the broadcast.
No, I like this because I did this StreamYard before, but we did it right through Facebook, like right through Anus by Hope. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and I definitely recommend it. They've been the best service I've found so far on that.
I've heard
That's
that
right, StreamYard. Use StreamYard. I'm plugging you, so give me some free months.
Oh yeah.
They're expensive.